What's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be reviewing The Shy, Season 6, Episode 11, Saints and Sinners. Mm-mm-mm. Woo! The start of this episode definitely had me rolling. Um, it was just Bakari's face for me, along with Jake and Papa, but definitely Bakari, because he was just sitting there like, I know this pastor is not serious. Like, it was definitely making a mockery of the church, for real, for real. Like, the stained glass as the opening, I was like, hold up. Not Jesus with the chains on and the dreads. Like, wait a minute now. But I wasn't sure if that was supposed to be like Pastor Zeke or I don't know. But I never seen the Lord look like that. Okay, so I was just like, uh-uh, like it was definitely making a mockery as a mega church. And yeah, this opening scene with Jake, like I said, Jake, Papa, and Bakari was an interesting one. Especially because Bakari was like, I'm not giving no more money. Like, we didn't pass the collection plate around twice. Twice. Like, no, he not getting no more money out of me. Like, mm-mm. Um, and Jake, he was about to nearly take off Papa's leg as hard as he was tapping him. As soon as he, saw the first lady, like she caught his attention, he was just like, "Who is that?" Like, there for the wrong reasons. And we all know, like, Jake doesn't really do church. Bakari, not so much either. I mean, he kind of was starting to come around with Pastor Stanley, but Jake, mm, you can't even get him to go to the mental health. So you just know, like, him being at church, his focus was definitely not in the right place. It was very much off. And Papa was like, everybody was there for a different reason. I think Bakari was just there to support Papa. Same way with Jake. Um, well, as we know, he caught the first lady's attention for sure. And Papa, he seemed to be so caught up and mesmerized by Pastor Ezekiel, aka Pastor Zeke. And yeah, I mean, Kenya was, obviously there because that's her dad's church. She's a PK. Um, but yeah, it was quite a couple of interesting interactions for sure. Um, First, when Kenya introduced the guys, of course, Pastor Zeke was like, "Oh, we need to have you guys here next Sunday." Jake was just like, "Not gonna happen." Bakari, like I said, he's super loyal to Pastor Stanley, and Bakari can quickly identify a phony when he sees one. So yeah, he just kind of put his head down, like, "Won't be here next Sunday. It won't be me. I don't know who you talking to." But yeah, it's not gonna be us. And of course, Tatiana, who is the first lady, she has an interesting relationship, as I can see as well, with Kenya. Because, she came over and Kenya gave her the look and walked right off, or she gave Kenya the look and Kenya just walked right off. And I, noticed Bakari caught that too, as well as Papa. He was just kind of looking like, what the heck? Jake was just locked in on Tatiana, the first lady. So, hmm, hmm. Talking about some, I like your hair. The boy is fresh out of high school, just fresh out. Like, all of them actually are fresh out of, well, except for Bakari, but everybody is pretty much fresh out of high school. Probably 18, 19, most likely 18 at the most, and probably 17 at the least. So too young, too young for her to be being messy. Like, Pastor Ezekiel, aka Pastor Zeke, and Tatiana are a very flashy couple. And just I don't feel like their motives are in the right place at all. Um, yeah, because as we know in the episode, Tatiana comes over to Jake's place and she ends up sleeping with him, asking him, can like, what do you spend your money on? Would you spend your money on me? And Jake, it's so interesting. This episode is basically Jake's episode, for real. To see Jake, because Jake, this episode, I saw a lot of Reg behavior. Okay, not so much Victor, aka Trig. I saw more of Reg, one of his other older brothers, behaviors. Okay, a lot of Reg. He resembled Reg a lot, and I was like, oh, this is definitely something Reg would be proud of. Like a lot of his teachings or whatever, because he did learn some things from Trig or Victor, and he learned a lot from Reg because he was with Reg before Victor came and took over, and he was also with Duda. So it's just the guidance is all over the board for him. But this episode, he definitely was having tapped into Reg, having a Reg moment all the way through. I was like, ugh. Because I just had to, like, think back and remember when, all the times that Jake was with Reg. And there was this one time in particular, I can't remember what he did. I don't know if he stole that fire from Reg or what he did. It was something with Reg, Kevin, and Jake. And I think he did a favor for Kevin, but he didn't tell Reg. And it like backfired, and that's how he became part of like the I can't remember the crew that Reg was a part of. But that's how he became a part of Reg's crew. But Reg was like trying to embarrass him to teach him a lesson and all this stuff. And that's when he had the pool in the house and all the women and just a whole lot going on. That episode, if anybody remembers, but that was like earlier seasons, of course, because we no longer have Reg on the show. But yeah, it was just, I was like, oh yeah, this definitely, like I said, reminds me of Reg. And Pastor Ezekiel, I just can't stand him. Like, him and the First Lady just give me like I said, really sneaky, really shady, really questionable vibes. Especially when Pastor Ezekiel came to Papa's church, like Pastor Stanley's church. And how he was just looking at Mrs. Stanley and his conversation with her, and like the switch, like the on and off in his behavior, like he was trying to be nice, like with him giving Papa the audio mixer for his podcast, and like trying to put on this facade, and then like the way he just was kind of like switching on and off, like the glares and the looking around the church. I'm like, what are you really there for? Like, you about to buy her out? Are you trying to like buy the church and make that something else? Like, what are you? I don't know. Because I do remember like Pastor Stanley did need the money, I guess, from Duda, because he did that whole, he took money from Duda, obviously, which wasn't the best idea. But, he admitted to that, especially when he had that conversation with Papa. But I'm just like, I don't know. I just don't trust Pastor Zeke. Like I just said, he just rubbed me the wrong way. And even Bakari could see that, because he was looking at him like, okay, bye. Like, you can leave. Like, and like I said, Bakari knows a phony and a fake from anything. Like, yeah. I do laugh because also at the church, like I said, Kenya was there with her son, and I don't know where pops up Zay, and I'm just like, oh, now you sitting in on church, like you going to church now? Okay, you're not there for the right reason either, because he automatically gravitated towards Kenya. It was just like, oh, are you a PK? And I think she was trying to say, like, no. And then he was like, but aren't you the pastor's daughter? And she's like, well, yeah. And then he's like, so why are you lying? Like, you have a son, this, that, and the third. Because she was like, I have a son. Because he was like, he want to take her out. And I guess because she went through what she went through with Papa, she probably was like, let me just let him know now. And eventually in the episode we do see that they hung out in his car, or whatever, and was getting to know each other. Zay wants to be a boss, which we know, but I don't know. That was like a wild card moment for me. This episode, one of the wild card moments, was definitely just Zay and Kenya, because I just don't trust Zay. Like, he just pops up everywhere, and I don't know if you know the dad, Pastor Zeke, has any ties to Judah. That's what I'm trying to figure out. I wonder if he does, because I mean, obviously Kenya knows that. I think majority of the community knows who works for Judah, and so she did say like, "Don't you work for Judah?" And he was like, "Yeah," but like he said, he wants to be a boss. So I'm just like, why are you at the service? Like, I just don't trust it. I don't know. Full circle back to Jake. Like I said, Jake was channeling rage this episode, and he did sleep with the first lady, Tatiana, which wasn't too hard because she, one, after church, found him immediately on IG. Like I said, they slept together, and she's like, "Okay, I'll see you at church next Sunday," and he was just like, "No," and she's like, "Well, what do I have to do to see you again?" So, he was like, "Pray on it." Like, what? I mean, that was a good line. Just pray on it. Like, I'm just like, he wrong for that, but plain and simple, pray on it. Period. So yeah, Jake and Gemma, I'm gonna need them to break up, possibly. I mean, I don't know where else this could go. Because Jake, like I said, he slept with the first lady. He told eventually in the episode, he told Gemma, "Hey, um, might as well be honest," because the first lady was basically blowing up his phone, messaging him and stuff, and he was about to lie about it, but Gemma was like, "Who is that?" And he was like, "Oh, it's just the first lady. I slept with her." And then Gemma started crying and was like, "What are we doing?" He was like, "We might as well be open because we are 18." I believe that's what Jake said. They 18, and he was just like, "I'm probably not gonna be with you for the rest of my life, and you're probably not gonna be with me for the rest of your life." Even though she's like, "You're my person." She's kind of devastated about that, kinda, but I don't know. So yeah, I feel like one, Jake needs to be careful with the first lady. Like I said, I don't trust her or Pastor Ezekiel. He did seem a little conflicted, like the look on his face. I don't know if he was just making faces or what, but he did kind of seem like, dang, like, what did I just do? Like a little bit of regret, but not really. And like, I wonder if that's because, he probably assumed that Gemma had already slept with Brittany, even though she confessed, like, "No, I didn't sleep with her, I did kiss her." And he was just like, "But you thought about it." So I think he was just trying to justify, like, "Okay, I did what I did, and but I also know, like everybody else knows, that you're thinking about it. Even the person that you're thinking about doing it with knows, like we all know, we can see it." So yeah, and of course, eventually Gemma does go to the studio with Brittany, which I was like, "Dang, no, my age of this episode, like Gemma's putting all her time and effort into Brittany. What about my age? I think she should, as the first artist, should be getting that attention as well." So hopefully we will see her next episode. But as I said, Gemma did go to the studio with Brittany, and at that point she had just already had that conversation with Jake. They're exploring their options, being open, but they're not breaking up. And so she just decides she wants to dance, drop it low for Brittany, try to be a little flirtatious. Brittany's in her notebook writing, focus on the music, trying to get things right. And Gemma's just kind of like, "You're not focused on me, you're not going to pay me attention," because that's what they've been doing, like a cat and mouse back and forth. Like last week, Brittany had somebody in the studio dancing on her or just sitting on her lap or whatever, entertaining that girl, and Gemma was jealous. And this week it wasn't so much of that. So Gemma's like, "What are we doing?" And Brittany's like, keeping it strictly business. Like that's what she would like to do. And a lot of people have been telling Gemma to just keep it business. Do not mix the two. Um, you know, Brittany is even telling her, like, we go down this road, it's just not something that you would want to do. I would like you to be my manager. That's the thing. Brittany and Maisha have not booked any gigs, so as of lately that that we've seen, that we know of. So it's just like Brittany paid Gemma a lot of money, enough money to get her own place, and with the intention of Gemma being her manager and getting her gigs and all that stuff. So, and still nothing. So I wonder what would happen if Gemma does not hold up to her end with Maisha or Brittany. That could not end well for Gemma at all. And in the episode we also have Gemma hosting dinner for Marcus and Tiara. Jake's supposed to be there, but he double booked, and Brittany ends up popping up, which was really nice because in this episode we did have Brittany meeting Marcus as well as Tiara. So Marcus, Gemma's dad, and we had Tiff meeting Rob's father, Alonzo, who we were introduced to last episode, who is a criminal lawyer. And so Brittany, met Marcus and Tiara, and they seem to like her. Tiara's texting Gemma, like, I see why you like her. And, they're flowing, listening to Brittany's music, having a good time. And, everything's going pretty good. The next day, all of them also are at Gemma's apartment, which is a really nice apartment. And the next day, Marcus is just trying to figure out like what is going on between Brittany and Gemma, because, like I said, everybody can see it. Everybody knows, like there's some kind of chemistry, and Gemma's just like, oh, nothing, it's just strictly business or whatever. But she does think, like Tiara told, but it's like your body language. You're giving, y'all both gave yourself away. Like if there's something there, there's something there. And like Marcus told her, like, strictly keep it business. Like, do not mix the two. Like, just be professional. Do what you have to do, because you can see from a mile away, probably is not going to end good. So as I stated not too long ago, Tiff and Rob were at home and they were doing some, home exercises, like a rehab exercises. Like a little bit of physical therapy to help Rob with his, just strengthening his body and getting back right after, being shot. And the door, someone's knocking at the door. And of course, here comes Alicia, which I'm laughing because I'm like, Alicia, you're going to have to get used to Tiffany. Tiffany, you're going to have to get used to Alicia, because y'all are obviously very much protective over Rob, but eventually I hope they can find common ground and, work together. But it's neither here nor there. Girlfriend versus mom kind of situation. So yeah, anyways, Alicia goes to the door and it is Alonzo. And of course, what many people have guessed, Alonzo is Rob's dad, and they also have a bit of a strained relationship. I'm assuming, of course, we all figured it out, that Alonzo was not really there like that because of his career as a lawyer. And so, obviously Rob feels some kind of way. But I do like the interaction that Alonzo and Tiff had. It was very smooth, very nice, no conflict or whatever. And, he likes her, and he's just trying to be there for Rob. You can see, like, eventually in the episode, him looking at his briefcase after he had dinner with Rob, and just seeing that, he's missed out on a lot. Like, he still has Rob's childhood photos, and obviously from Rob and Alicia's mouth and Alonzo's mouth, he basically put business over family and put a lot of focus and time into that, and so he missed out on Rob becoming a man. It was quite funny because I love Leon and Lynn Whitfield as actors, and just to see the chemistry and hear the soft jazz playing with their interaction, I'm just like, seasoned actors. Like, I love it, I love it, I love it. But it was also funny as Alonzo and Alicia acting, because Leon is so suave, okay, just in general to me. So every time he comes on the screen, I'm just like, like, woo, that's a fine, sharp dressed man. He's clean to a T. Like, oh my gosh, yeah. So he's like just so, yeah. Um, and just to see him like be all suave and kind of suck Alicia in, almost to the point of like they're about to kiss, and he was just like, "You look tired." I was like, "No, you didn't," because she is over here heartbroken, obviously because somebody killed her brother. Somebody took out Q, Quincy. She's just trying to figure out who, even though everybody pretty much knows it's Duda. And that's really why Alonzo came, is because he knows, Victor and Rob are intertwined in this mess of who killed or took out Uncle Q, Quincy, or yeah. Which of course everybody can put two and two together that it's Duda, but trying to take him down is a problem. And again, you could see that she's still hurt. That's another reason why she was really in town to figure out what happened to her brother, who did it. Even though she knows, it's just like, okay, how do we take him out? Like, how do we get rid of him? How do we, get basically a confession? She just wants him gone. And she knows it's Doodah, but she didn't know like there's so many other people involved in the mess, and it's not as easy as it looks. And that was like another reason why Alonzo went out to dinner with Rob, is to hopefully have him testify and be a witness. Same way with Victor, like they're gonna potentially possibly have to be witnesses um, for a case against Doodah. And Rob was like, oh, no, like we could fix our relationship. That's what you should be working on, not me helping you out with your job, your case to take out Duda. Like that's not gonna work. And Rob's just like he don't want to do it, so he basically walked off and was really upset. So Alonzo's just gonna have to, hopefully come up with another option on how to win over Rob, but also like build his relationship with Rob as well. Um, yeah, it was not looking too good there. We also, we also did get a little bit of a backstory on, from Rob, like basically, like I said earlier, Alonzo choosing his career over, um, being there for Rob and being a dad, and he didn't really know so much of what happened with Alicia and Alonzo, but stuff happened, and he's just a really big time attorney. We also, see the aftermath of last episode with Alicia and Rashad, and I guess they're together now, or just casually hooking up. And so they're in the closet for some reason, and I guess Alicia was like she had a leather jacket for Rashad, and Rashad was just like, I bet this is expensive, and she's like, oh, it belonged to someone. I'm assuming it belongs to Alonzo, which is another thing. Like I said, Alonzo and Alicia were really close to kissing, and I feel like he still has a slight hold on her. And if at any point he could potentially come in and swoop her off her feet, if push comes to shove, I would feel bad a little bit for Rashad, because I mean, as he said last episode, his dad taught him when they were young, like the best way to give a woman is to get under another one. But I still feel like he could potentially maybe gain feelings for Alicia and probably get his feelings hurt if he did catch Alonzo and Alicia together. Who knows if that'll happen, or hopefully he doesn't hurt Alicia. And I don't know. It's a lot of theories of what I'm assuming could happen between Alicia and Rashad. But I know one thing's for certain. Alicia did ask Rashad if he would like a job, and basically that is to be security for her, like hired security. And he's explaining to her like he's an ex-con, how's that gonna work? And she was like, she could pull some strings, it'll be fine. Like she needs security, and problem solved, he has a job. So I was just like, well, okay. Okay, I mean, he has been looking for a job, but working for Alicia, so I feel like it's like working for Duda because don't know if it's foreshadowing, but Alicia said something similar to what Duda said to Emmett, and that was when someone offers you a gift, you take it. And I was just like, I don't like that. It was kind of foreshadowing to me because I was like, dang, she really is like the female Duda. And I just remember that Rob said, she's just not one you want to mess with. She is not one that, you would want to get on her bad side. If you think Duda's worse, well, she makes Duda look like a saint. And I was like, dang, Duda said the same thing when he gave Emmett that gun or the strap, whatever. Basically, like, when somehow, because, Emmett was like, oh, no, I don't want it. And as we remember, in the first half of this season, at the housewarming party, they were in the room and he was just like, when someone gives you a gift, because he was getting frustrated with him because it was too much back and forth, too much banter, you take it. And that's the same thing, with Rashad questioning Alicia about the leather jacket. Like, oh, I don't feel too comfortable wearing another man's, jacket. Like, I could just get my own. I don't like when people do stuff like this. Like, I could get my own stuff. I don't need you to do anything for me. And she was just, when someone offers you a gift, you take it. And I'm just like, Emmett and Rashad, don't know. I'm really concerned. uh, Speaking of Emmett, we also have Emmett and Keisha. Again, I really think that their first baby together is baking or soon to be baking in the oven, okay? Because it's been a lot of hunching, a lot of stuff going on. No, I don't think it's a lot of protection either. So, might be a little bundle of joy coming soon for Emmett and Keisha, which I don't know because they have a lot of stress on their plate right now, especially with them being all jumpy about who's texting Emmett, thinking that it's Duda texting Emmett about taking out Alicia, and just it's too much. I'm just like, dang, y'all need to breathe. Hold up, y'all scared for real? Like, oh jeez. Mm-mm-mm. And speaking of Emmett, he had a lot going on this episode. With obviously Darnell, and we get introduced to a new character, Brett Gray, who is playing Damien, Darnell's son, who is pretty much the same age as Emmett because Emmett and Darnell hang out as a father and son day, and they go to play laser tag. And in rushes, Darnell at the same time as they're playing, and not Darnell, Damien as they're playing, and Darnell's basically like, this is your brother. He's just like Emmett, so much attitude and just it's hard to get used to change sometimes. So he's just like half brother, and Darnell's like, I don't do that half stuff. Like, that's your brother, that's your blood. Like, suck it up. And basically, Damien, played by Brett Gray, he was just like, well, how old how old are you? And he was just like, we don't got time for that either. Y'all basically the same age. And I'm like, dang, they're like Irish twins. Like, geez. So, of course, they're talking, Emmett and Damien, and they're just like, oh, how was your life growing up? In like a matter of like 5-minute conversation. And so basically Damien was like, oh, I got to see our dad on holidays. And Emmett was like, that's not fair. I didn't get that. Like, at least you got holidays. So it was a lot. Again, I don't know if this episode was kind of foreshadowing, even though it wasn't like a meaty episode like last week, and like so much was going on here, there, and everywhere. Darnell. It made me concerned for Darnell because I'm like, are we introducing Damien so that Damien and Emmett could like lean on each other, or like, why are we introducing, like, something gonna happen to Darnell? Because it's just giving me this like, before I go, I'm gonna get my affairs in order kind of thing with Darnell. Like, I want you guys to be straight and build a bond, and if anything happens. So I'm just like, oh my gosh, if I couldn't be able to handle it because I feel like Emmett's come a long way, Darnell's come a long way, and their relationship definitely has come a long way. Um, Even though Emmett is being Emmett, and he's just like, I don't like this. Because Darnell also is like, hey, Damien needs a job. Why don't you hire him at Smokies? And he was like, I'm not doing that. And Darnell again was like, that's your brother. That's blood. It's not just some random off the street. Like, you should help him out and stuff like that because he needs money, and why not? And so, um, we also get like Jada talking to Emmett because Emmett, Darnell, and Damien. I'm not Emmett, Darnell, and Damien. Jada, Darnell, and Damien. They all come over for dinner at Keisha and Emmett's. And so, of course, like I said, Emmett is still not with the idea of Damien being in the picture. He just liked the way things were before. And so Jada pulls him aside and is just basically like, I'm fine with it. It took me a minute to get there, but, you know, you need to give your brother a chance. He's still your brother at the end of the day. And that's the thing I was just trying so hard to understand. I was like, Emmett, your situation is no different. Like, you're like your dad all over again with having multiple children across the board with different women. And, how is that any different? Like, eventually your children are going to want to come together. And it seems like they do come together occasionally. And, you know, you're gonna have to make them realize like you are all siblings. It's better for you to get along, especially little Ronnie, who isn't even Emmett's. He's Keisha's son, so it's just like same thing. Jada was trying to get Emmett to understand that Keisha puts up with this. You have children with like three different women, so it's like you have like three kids with three different women, and what do you think Keisha feels? Like, how do you think Keisha feels? What do you think that does to her and like the process and stuff like that? So she can accept it. With you, you need to be able to accept that behavior from your father and all of your siblings. So, I guess Emmett may give him a chance, even though he was side eyeing him during that prayer. And I was like, give the boy a chance. Like, dang, Emmett, calm down. You're probably really going to need him this last half of the season. Like, but change, like I said, can be hard for everybody. Um, Now, speaking of change, Papa, I don't know what's going on with Papa. Because I thought, his dad passing, Pastor Stanley passing, would have taken him in a different direction, but oh, no, 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 no. Like, granted, yes, he no longer involves himself really with Kenya. He's involving himself with Kenya's dad, Pastor Zeke, which is so much more worse to me because, one, Pastor Stanley did not like Pastor Zeke at all. And his teachings, and he himself thought he was really flashy and just not doing the will of God and not being an honest man living an honest life. Granted, Papa, as he's talked to his dad before he's passed, was basically saying, well, aren't you a hypocrite because you're not living an honest life? You've done things that were not the best. And so I don't know. Like, Papa is really gravitating towards Pastor Zeke, and it's very much like the roles are just kind of flip flop to me with him and Bakari as well, because Bakari seems to really hold strong to Pastor Stanley's teachings. I feel like that was really like a father figure to him. The things that, like I said, he's taught him, he keeps in high regard. Even when he was talking to Papa after Mrs. Stanley kind of blew up at him, and he was like, "Hey, do I need to move out? Trust me, I've been there living with people, and it's not easy. Like especially when you don't feel welcomed, it's yeah, it's not easy, and you're trying to navigate. Like okay, this is how I usually do things versus how someone else does things, and you don't want to like feel like you're in the way or being a burden, even though people are like, oh no, it's fine. Uh. Face value, everything in face value. Like, no, 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 no. Because eventually, it won't be fine. Like, no. Like, no. So I get that from Bakari, from personal experience. Like, it really isn't easy. And When you get that feeling, it's just like, okay, yeah, it's time to bounce. Like, somebody could be like, yeah, no, you're cool, it's good. No, it's time to bounce. Like, I'm cool, thank you, I'm out. Because you just know, like, you can pick up on things even if somebody says something. It's just actions, behavior, body language. You pick up on it quite easily. Nobody's stupid. So I felt for Bakari on that because I've been there, done that. But yeah, anyways, back to Papa. I'm glad he did reassure Bakari and just like let him know, like, no, you're fine. You could stay. Don't, my mom's just grieving. Papa, I don't know if he's reached that level of grief yet, or he's just like, all right, I'm good. Because even Jake, like I said, earlier they were all just kind of like, not really feeling it. Jake was just like, man, that man does one thing, he knows how to choose women in cars or whatever, but he really wasn't caring about the message. And Bakari, he called Pastor Zeke out on that in the car and the truck when they were driving home with Jake. Bakari was like, his message was really just about money. Like, I didn't really get a message. It was just about wanting money and abundance and tithing and stuff like that. So, yeah. For me, like I said, I don't know what direction Papa's going in. Especially, it's not easy with his mom, who's obviously grieving, but being super hard on him and not letting him make those choices for himself as a young adult. Um, because she really wants to just help. Like, I don't care what you're saying, I'm gonna guide you in this direction either way. And Papa's not, he doesn't care, because at the end of the episode, we do see that Papa takes a job full time, which I'm like, dang, hold up. What happened to Kenya and Papa working at Smokies? Like, now I'm assuming Kenya doesn't work there anymore. I don't know. She might. But Papa now is about to be a full time assistant. That is his life after high school, being a full time assistant to Pastor Zeke. Which, of course, I know his mother's not going to like that at all, because as she asked him, like, are you abandoning the church? His father's church. Like, I'm assuming they assumed that he was going to take over or, be more involved, and he's been spending time with Pastor Zeke, and so now Pastor Zeke has just taken Papa under his wing, and I feel like his mom is just gonna let him be, kind of. Of course, she don't need no help from Bakari, but I feel like his mom is just gonna like let him be, and um, kind of see for himself. Like, okay, you know what? Maybe I should not say anything else. Just let him see for himself, because I can see that Pastor Zeke is probably gonna have a moment like he was having at the church, where he would, like, his facial expressions were just giving like not good, like just the wrong type of vibes. Um, Someone who's wearing a mask, pretty much. I feel like that mask is gonna slip with Papa, and he's gonna see the real Pastor Zeke. As much as Kenya has tried to explain, you just kind of have to like go through things and see for yourself, and I think that's what's gonna happen with Papa and Pastor Zeke, especially when he was just like, "Oh, your little part-time job at Smokies. This will be your full-time job." I was like, "Your little part-time," like it was nothing. I was like, Papa's been working there for a minute, so I don't know. I don't know. He just seemed like the type that's just probably gonna throw stuff in Papa's face, or just like I said, his mask is gonna slip, and Papa's gonna see the real him. And I'm hoping that it will not be too late, or something bad, just doesn't happen. I'm hoping, but it's the shot. Anything can happen. Bakari, he's up there with Darnell right now. And like so many other characters where I'm just like, Victor, Darnell, Bakari, Rashad, like, I don't know. I'm just hoping that he makes it to season 7 and nothing bad happens to him, because he's gone through so much, and I really want his character to win, and it hurt my heart. Because it like it's like watching a little cousin. Like, it hurt my heart because you can see the growth. And like I said last week, character build up, and then something tragic happens. It hurt my heart because I love that Bakari has a journal, and that he was writing in his journal, um, and that he was just having that moment, because it is important. Like I said before, I journal, and it's awesome. It's amazing, and it just. I don't know. I feel like somebody's gonna find the journal, and it's gonna be a wrap. Okay, like a whole wrap. Especially because I know he cannot trust Brittany. He said he cannot trust Brittany, and everybody knows he should not trust Brittany because she has ulterior motives. And it's nice to see that he could put trust in Rashad and Papa, Lene, who he loves, and I love that for him. But he also talks about Pastor Stanley, and basically like same thing he did with Coogie, wanting to avenge their death. He took out the person that took out Coogie, which was Ronnie. When it's the same thing we saw with Ronnie, kind of with Bakari. Like Ronnie had turned a new leaf. He stopped drinking. He got, was going to church. He was helping out in the community at the community center. I think it's called The Rock, if I'm not mistaken, with Tracy, and just trying and stuff like that. And then, boom. One nice afternoon, here comes Bakari out of left field and just took Ronnie clean on out. And before he took Ronnie out, he said, "This is for Coogie." So yeah, like, and basically Bakari remembered that, like, okay, I took Ronnie out. He didn't remember his name. He's just like, I took old boy out. He took out Coogie, and then it was just like, okay, him saying, "You live by the gun, you die by the gun," and it's just like, I hope that is not foreshadowing either. Because that would hurt. Because I like Ahmad Ferguson. He's a really amazing actor. I like all the actors. I actually love all the actors on the show. You can feel the emotion a lot through a lot of their scenes, and especially Ahmad. Like, he's a really great actor, and in his role as Bakari. And I also watched him on Force too. But on The Shy, like, tens across the board, like, amazing. Um, Because I remember after Pastor Stanley died, he went to confront Nuck and was just like ready to like pull the trigger. And it was just like the Nuck pulled it back, like pulled out the thing on him, had it at his head. You saw it in the flashbacks. Like, and to see his hand shaking because it's like him saying he's not ready to go out yet. He's not ready for his life to be over. It's scary. It happens at any moment. You don't know. Like, Bakari has lived such an eventful life for somebody so young, has been through so much from his youth up until him still being like in his youth. Like, oh, all of them have gone through so much, have witnessed so much. Even though Kevin is, Alex is no longer on the show who played Kevin. Kevin's character went through so much and witnessed like they all witnessed stuff that can change you forever and can, you know, kind of catapult you into being an adult and like forcing you out there, and you're just like, dang, I'm still a kid. Like, you're going through adult situations as a kid. It's just like you don't really get to enjoy your childhood. You don't get to enjoy your youth, and it's hard. I've been there, and it's hard to bounce back from it. And I'm just hoping that nothing happens to Bakari, that he's able to bounce back or get a clearer path. It was tough to watch that because hearing him say like he wants to live is tough. It's tough. It's just like, no, not Bakari. Like, come on. Yeah, I just hope that he continues to take the teachings that Pastor Stanley has taught him and just continue to live out that and still just try to live a better life. in spite of, because that's really all he can do. Um, and I feel for him because like he's been pulled in all these different directions. Like he said, he has the teachings and the guidance really from Pastor Stanley, but he's gone. Then he has Duda, who's basically in his way and wants him to be like him. That's out of Bakari's mouth, and it's hard because he wants to like be his own person, be his own man. Now he's doing his thing with Professor Gardner, and it's just like it's hard. You're pulled in different directions. You can't go against Duda, like, and I don't know. So, like I said, I hope he lives. Hope he makes it out. That would suck. Yeah, because I've again experienced. I've been there. Just being in situations where kind of you're just forced to grow up kind of fast, and you're just there goes your childhood, and you're just trying to you spend a almost feels like a lifetime trying to catch yourself, trying to get stability, and I can see that in Bakari. Bakari is like fighting for stability, trying to be on the straight and narrow, trying to do the right thing, trying to not backtrack, trying to keep his head up, and he's really just fighting for stability, and it can be hard. It can, especially when you're not used to that. So this was a definitely. It felt like a little bit of a filler episode. It wasn't too long, wasn't too much. It kind of went by really fast. I was like, dang. Okay. But I am ready for next week's episode. Friday cannot come fast enough. I'm excited about that. This is pretty much all I really had to say. I was trying to keep it short. I did a little dissertation last week with talking so much, but yeah, I did enjoy this week's episode because we kind of got to learn a little bit more information about some of the characters or the cast that we were either introduced last week or previously, and we really didn't have like much information on like, okay, what's the importance, like what are their motives, or what are their qualities. So we got to learn a little bit more about Alonzo. He's a big criminal attorney, and he helps you out wherever there's a case. He's on it, and he seems like he's probably the best, and he's all about his work. So we shall see what happens with Victor and Duda and Rob, because Rob is very much involved. So we'll see. And maybe Alicia may come around or talk to Rob, and who knows? We'll just have to wait and see. We got to meet the new character Tatiana, First Lady. Yeah, I don't know what is going on with her and Pastor Zeke. I'm like, does Pastor Zeke know, like, you be sleeping around? Because, I mean, I feel like he caught a vibe at the church because he looked like when he invited them to dinner, or at least Papa to dinner, and Papa was like, no, I gotta go help clean up or clean out the church or whatever, some of his dad's things. He kind of looked back at Jake like, all right, I'm on to you, like, take it easy, but I'm watching you kind of thing, like, out of my face. And, so yeah, I'm hoping that Jake does not get caught up. I'm hoping that I don't know. I'm just hoping he does not get caught up, because Jake's already caught up. I'm like, you didn't took the money from Zay. That's how you have money. Who works for Duda, which I'm pretty sure that means you just basically took money from Duda for your business. Couple of stacks, and I don't know if your business is making that much money, but I'm pretty sure you're gonna have to pay somebody back for that investment. So I'm like, Jake, you involved with First Lady, you got Zay over here, like he has too much going on too. He's up there a little bit under Bakari at this point on my I'm concerned list. I was really, happy again to see Tiff and Rob and Emmett and Keisha, because I feel like they're as couples perfect for each other. Like I felt like before Emmett and Tiff were just kind of like immature, and they were not each other's person. They were not for each other really, despite having a child. And it's nice to see them in relationships where it seems like they have met their person. Like Tiff seems a little bit more mature with Rob and her decisions, and you could really tell like she loves him and she's gonna be there for him and support him and all sorts of things. Same way, vice versa with Rob, and similar to Emmett and Keisha. Like, granted, they have had their rough patches, but they're still working on it and they're relearning one another, and I think that's awesome and amazing. So I'm happy to see that those dynamics pretty much are working out, or at least especially with Emma and Keisha, because it was a little it was a little touch and go there, but it seems like it's getting better. And again, Alicia and Rashad, I don't know, because I feel like Alonzo, again, like I said, him being smooth, suave, and thank you, Lord, amazing. I just feel like he can swoop in and take Alicia if he really wanted to. Um, and I just don't know if that'll happen. It could happen, but again, where does that leave Rashad? Like, I just feel like Rashad is not in a win-win situation here, especially now that he's going to be working for Alicia. Because I'm like, you were working with Duda, like I said in my last video, in the chop shop with the cars, and now you're working for Alicia, and it's just too much. It's too much mixing. It's too much involvement, and I'm really concerned a lot for Rashad. Because I'm like, you're too far deep in, especially similar to Emmett. Like, pick a side, because I feel like it's going to come down to that. Picking a side, staying there, and prepare for the worst either way. And Gemma, I think Gemma is just probably going to need to be by herself. So basically, Brittany was like, I know you would like this to be a thing, this to happen, but I'm not really with it right now. I'm really just strictly focusing on the music. So I'm gonna need Gemma to. I'm not gonna say she's single, because technically, I mean, it feels like she is single. Like y'all, one foot out the door, done. But because Jake was like, y'all not breaking up, but I don't know. It just, I don't know. I'm like, Gemma, you basically single, girl. Just focus on yourself at this moment. Focus on yourself. Focus on what you would like to do, what you're good at. And that's what I feel like she should do. Like, if you're not, like her Marcus said, you're not going to college, which he's still not happy with that decision. And I don't know if she would ever come around and be like, you know what, this is not working. I can't do this. I'm just going to go to college. We'll see. But I feel like she should just focus on what she's really good at. And I think that will help her, especially managing Brittany and Myasia, and just focusing on her strengths, pretty much. No relationships, no distractions. Granted, yes, they're all young, still figuring themselves out, but again, just think she should just take this time to figure herself out, and probably not so much on relationships. Because either Jake comes around, Brittany comes around, or they don't. And again, I feel like she'll probably go to Tierra, but at the end of the day, I think Gemma's going to be okay if she just figures out herself. Yeah. I am interested to see everybody, maybe next episode, if we'll see everybody, because we didn't see Victor, Tracy, or Myasia, Lene. We have not seen freaking Nina in such a long time, and we haven't really seen too much of Tracy or Rosalind, so it's a lot of people that we still have yet to really get more in depth in their stories as well, so I'll be interested to hopefully see them this upcoming week. Bakari, again, I'm so nervous for Bakari. Like, I don't know. It's either Bakari or Darnell. Like, they're right now up there with me feeling like something's gonna happen. Or Victor, but I don't know. Because it's so much of, like, affairs in order, or just, I don't know. It's giving that. It feels like that. But yeah. I hope everyone had a wonderful week, a great week. I hope everybody has a great 3 day weekend. If you have a 3 day weekend, which I think all of us do. Um, and yeah, it is still Mental Health Awareness Month. It's still May. Um, so yeah, I just hope that everyone is still powering through, keeping your heads up, being positive. I apologize because I am sleepy. I'm so sorry. I had a cookout I went to earlier with my coworkers. One of my coworkers had a cookout, so I'm a little bit tired from that. And it's been raining here, so I'm just like, oh, it makes me a little gloomy, and it's actually kind of late. So, or it's been kind of gloomy out. It makes me gloomy. What? No, sorry, but it is kind of late here, so yeah. But all in all, I do apologize if I was talking really fast. I was just trying to get through the video, and it is about like 55 minutes. I was trying to keep it a little less longer from last time, but it looks like it's probably going to be about the same amount of length in time. Um, but yes, just want to say, if you need somebody to talk to, just reach out to whoever you feel comfortable with. Um, and again, for everybody, just hang in there. Uh, Find your support systems, and yeah, you got this. We are in May. We are 5 months in, almost 6 months, which is mind-boggling to me. Everything just feels like it's just moving fast. But definitely always just try to keep yourself grounded. And yeah, please do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. Again, I hope everybody has a wonderful week. I'm excited. Uh, like I said, we're just zooming right through May. May is pretty much almost over. We're about to get into June, my birthday month. I am excited. Got 2 weeks, and my birthday is going to be here, so I'm super happy about that. Um, yeah, and I'm just happy overall for the year in general. Thank you again so much for watching. Please do not forget to watch my other videos on the Shy Season 6 reviews that I put out. Again, do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you don't do anything else, have a wonderful evening, morning, wherever. Just have a great, 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 great day and an even better week. Love you guys. I'm out. Bye.